Bass and Bonsai, we are back in the house and we've got some stuff to talk about. Baits that we used, those we didn't, and let's see if I can get a little bit of adjustment there. So, anyway, welcome to the show. We're back in the house. We went fishing today. Sort of uneventful. We got on some fish, but nothing, like I mentioned, to write home about. So we got all this stuff we used. We used all of this. I'd already separated this earlier today. And then we used all of those hard baits. And let's just get started. So we tried topwater. No topwater. Tried whopper ploppers. No whopper ploppers were whopper ploppering at all. Briefly tried a buzz bait. Probably could have maybe got that to work. But we pretty much... went straight to chatterbaits, and I did try. I had a couple different frogs. I tried rigging this guy up in old standby, the Booyah Poppin' Pad Crashers. Just threw them in a few spots, but there was not a significant anything topwater. We got on a couple little. I wouldn't call it. Was it really even a good rattle trap bite? But we did catch a few just here and there, but they weren't really hitting rattle traps either. So it's hot. The water temps are like 85 degrees now. I think every bait I got out here, except for I just briefly threw this one and then put it up. I don't think it caught a fish. It did a week before. I kind of started with this guy, just thinking that the color would be right because it matched some of these. But maybe one or two, wasn't many. Then kind of throwing a half ounce in the shallower grassy areas and then a little bigger, deeper water kind of thing, the 3/4 ounces. Toledo Gold, nothing. Did not bring home the gold. So kind of like typical, some of the whites were working. This guy, like I mentioned, caught a couple, but that bite really wasn't going either. We did manage to get on, and I tried this peanut butter and jelly jig in a few different variations and tried it with that on the back. Tried it with the peanut butter and jelly. For some reason, that one place me and Charles go to, you just have a jig with the actual peanut butter and jelly zinkers, kind of like with the orange that works at that place and the place we're at today. But this dude didn't do anything at all, and I probably need to revamp my peanut butter and jelly jig game. This one was kind of the color as in the chatterbaits also. We got on some little, kind of little mini bites here and there with this jig enough. And then we had the claws bit off of one, and we rigged up another one and found a little spot that so when I was going in this morning, I saw it on my depth finder that there was kind of a little hump and it looked like it had stuff on it. I'm like, I need to. I was in a hurry to get to the back, thinking I was going to get on a decent topwater deal back there, but that didn't pan out. But as I was passing it, I'm like, I even got it on recording, so I'll be putting that video out. I don't know for sure when, probably sometime this coming week, of me talking about it. I'm like, oh wow, look at that. And you guys really can't see it too good on the camera, but I'm like, I need to come back and hit this. And then I come back and hit it. And that's probably, I think, were our couple biggest fish of the day. And they weren't giants. But this jig was doing some work. Not the big blade, even though it had the right color, just was not on it. I did finally manage on our custom. I hardly ever fish this one. So I just was like, I'm going to throw it. I did manage to catch a fish on it. And then I still have it rigged up, but if you guys remember our Screaming Thunder cricket that's all chewed up, he's still rigged up and ready to go. And this one I need to remind myself, I want to show you guys this. This band is like stretched on this one, so it doesn't, see how that is very weak. I was trying to use this one along with the original one I bought, and this dude just doesn't take much of a hit, and this was getting knocked down. I would tick it through the grass, and the grass would just pull it and it would fall down. So I was like, oh my god, which rendered it almost useless. But the standard one, the original one I made, we were catching them on that one. And for whatever reason, this change up a little bit in color didn't seem to be doing very well. I did manage. This one's getting even more beat up. We did a few more with this guy, so it's kind of the same thing. We could get on him here and there with chatterbaits, and it was really this bluegilly color with either one or the two. Like extremely. There's the one that we lost the pinchers on. Poor soldier. Look at him. He's like he's got his hands up. He just gives up. He's done. He's done for. He's toast. So I think I threw this one on a couple different points, thinking I could get on maybe a bite. That's 5XD, but no go with that. I brought these out and I never even threw them. And some of our other baits I got out and we didn't even throw because we only really fished till almost noon. Started about 5:30, got out on the water. Roughly about 6 hours because then I was I don't know how much of the footage made it, but I got to chatting with a couple different fishermen out there, this and that. So anyway, the spinnerbait game wasn't happening because I threw it just for a split second on the Super Destroyer and then put it up and put a jig on the Super Destroyer and that kind of thing. I did briefly try. I went away, so I was trying to free rig. I tried a couple different baits. I don't think I put a worm on the free rig just to try it, but I was like, nope. I just went back to basically using my VMC and Finesse VMC rugby jigs and for my soft plastics at the moment, just because I got tired of jacking around with that and I can change weights and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to regroup, and we were still on, if you guys follow the channel, you hear me talking about missing some fish, right? So there's still kind of that going on. I felt like this bait also, I got it out, was planning on putting a swim bait on it to try it out. That's that just swim jig from Core Tackle, and just never even managed to, just didn't make it that far because I felt once I was moving around, and I could get on a bite here, there, either with the rattle traps, I caught a couple, I'd catch one here, there, and then throw it for a while longer, and then I get up to a shallower spot with a little bit of grass, so I'd go back to chatterbaits, back and forth. And the other bait that I still have rigged up also is the June bug zinkers caught us probably the biggest fish of the day, but then the next couple biggest ones are probably on this jig, and then a few decent ones on chatterbaits. So anyway, I just thought I'd get that video out there for some of you guys. I'll try to keep this one like 10 minutes. That's just the same baits can kind of continue to keep working. But the bite at that place, so this makes for, and then somebody commented like, why don't you keep fishing the same places? It was like, yeah, if the bite's still going and the bite's still good and it's one of the places that's closest to you, you keep hitting it, right? But it is definitely with the extra heat, and I think it's got extra fishing pressure. There's a few more people, it seems like, showing up and fishing on any given day on the weekends that I'm there, because like the weekend before was Father's Day weekend. It seemed like there was quite a few boats. Today there was only a few, but it's a small lake. It's not a very big lake. So if me and my little, if a two-man bass boat can kind of more or less cover it in a day, it's not very big, right? But it does have good fishing, and I feel if I kept going there and looked for other, because each time I go there, because I've only been there in the last 5 years probably. We always go with Matt, and he following. Basically, I'm not looking down at anything. I'm just with him, and so these few times I've noticed extra little humps here, there, like you're getting ready to see in a video later on in the week. So a lot of times you just get out there and reestablish and know what spots, and mainly when you have a place with any sort of fishing pressure, the more spots you can find that are away from the bank, it could be a little hump, a little whatever that to go at least check or whatever, the better the fishing might be for you, because everybody, as you're going along and there's a stump, like say here's a boat ramp and the first couple points got a few stumps on them, those have probably get hit like regularly, repeatedly. Not saying you still shouldn't hit them, because there will always be a bass restaging on those at some point, but they're going to be less likely to be productive as, say, like the spot I found because it doesn't look like much. It's just kind of, you're going, and you're just, you know, on the depth finder, it's just like 10 foot, and it's not really changing, and then all of a sudden it comes up to 8 foot, and then it drops back off to like 11 on the other side, and there's just a little mound of, for whatever reason. And I even went around it sideways, just I was kind of looking to see what the side imaging showed it looking like, and it almost reminds you of if like the wind had blown and blown something up. It's just kind of one of those things that looks like something caused this little mound to be pushed up, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, off out away from the banks, to where if you're not paying attention or going over it, you may miss it like every time, not even paying attention to it. So anyway, now that I know it's there, when I do go back, I'll note it, you know, at least double check it, and it's fairly easy to do. You know, just go, either make a few casts before you get there, or cross over it as you're going to go somewhere else, and just see if something's there. You know whether to hit it again on the way out or whatever, that kind of deal. So anyway, stay tuned. Got a lot more coming. What was I going to say? I still am debating if I can get this truck of mine fixed, and I have no worries there of all this extra money to spend on the truck. I've been debating about getting the Eagle Eye 9 just to try it out, and I've been watching a few videos on how you can kind of take that one, even though it's a cheaper one, but it is still $1,000. But to get it to where it'll fill up more of your screen anyway on the Eagle Eye 9, I've watched a few different guys talking about how you just have to set the depth at like 15 foot. So if you know, because technically most of the spots I fish are probably close to 15 foot or less. It kind of can widen it out like that, and you're going to be limited. You're only going to see your bait about 40 foot away, and possible structure, or maybe you might be able to set it and have it to where you might see fish from like 60 foot away. But just the thought of that would be good enough for me, just to, because I like to go especially when I'm just kind of start going down the bank slow. You can always just, you know, pan out and just see if what's going on. So I'm still up in there with that. Part of me says don't even mess with that, and it's like, well, everybody and their brother is probably going to end up getting it at some point if they're not going to ban it from different stuff. So anyway, that's still up in there. So thanks for watching, guys. Get out and go bass some bonsai. I don't really have any, not one of these baits stood out as like, wow, that bait just constantly works, other than the color, basically. That green pumpkin-y, bluegilly type skirt material on a jig or chatterbait, even a spinner bait, and then either a June bug or orange, and you might try both, and at any given time one could be working more than the other. But I don't think the actual bait really matters, because we've done it on jigs, we've done it on various brands of chatterbaits, and we've even done it on the SV3 knockoff spinnerbait. So, whoa. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. That is not my kid, just for the record.